Hello and welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of sports. We're running through every single division in the National Football League for our season previews, and we just have two more, dos más, the NFC West and the AFC West. We'll start with the NFC. Tim, are you ready to go?
Let's run it, my friend.
Let's run it. So the first team we're going to start with is the Arizona Cardinals. They were 11-6 the previous year, finally made the playoffs, and they got thrashed by the Rams, the Super Bowl champion Rams, because Cliff Kingsbury kind of doesn't know how to coach in the second half. He always starts off hot and then fizzles out late. It's happened literally every year. And although Kyler Murray has a fat contract, they are without DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 weeks because drugs. And granted, they added Marquise Brown, but that does not make up for DeAndre Hopkins. So who's ready for another hot start and late season collapse? Because, yeah, I have them at 8-9 and missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they're an interesting team for sure, but I'm a little bit higher on them than you are just because of the fact that I'm not necessarily sticking to pattern instinct-wise of really early hot start and then late end collapse. I actually see them sort of catching their stride around that 4, 5, 6 game mark because, of course, right around then is where you're going to be getting D-Hop back after those 6 games. I personally really like the addition of Zach Ertz. I think he's going to help add a different dimension to that offense because Kyler's made some decent use of sort of the random tight ends that he's
Zach
gotten.
Ertz is going to be more ingrained into the offense as his first full year in Arizona, I think that will also really help. So in that way, I definitely do agree with you.
And I think that the Kyler Marquise Brown connection, I think, is actually going to spark a little bit more than people expect. I think he's going to be an electric receiver that's going to be fun to watch. And I think the big thing for me is what's going to be the thing that holds down that defense. And can you keep JJ Watt healthy? What's that defensive line as a whole going to look like? But I think they've still got enough pieces to play a lot of good football, especially if you keep Kyler Murray healthy, and just how electric he is leading that offense. And for that reason, I actually have them at 11-6, and I do have them sneaking in the playoffs. But I mean, they're a team, as we've shown and as they showed last year, can look world-beating at times and then completely flip the script. So they're a team that I think one of the hardest teams in the NFC to predict, just because of the fact that you never know what you're going to get out of them despite the talent that they have.
The Arizona Cardinals are like a box of chocolates. I mean, look at last year. They started undefeated and then
like, oh my goodness, are they going to like go undefeated the whole season and dropped like 7 straight?
I mean, I credit Aaron Rodgers and the Packers with that turnaround for the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh.
But hey, they were the one.
I discredit AJ Green.
That's an excellent point. Good for Rasul Douglas for catching the football and actually looking at it. But now we'll go to the defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. It was a long time coming. Matthew Stafford finally got his ring. And the Rams really didn't need to do much to keep their Super Bowl winning core together. They just swapped out the pieces that left and in some cases got a little bit better. OBJ leaves, Allen Robinson to put there. Von Miller leaves, Bobby Wagner to put there. So this team is definitely ready to run it back. Stafford is ready to let it sling. However, the thrower's elbow, it might be an issue, and it's definitely worth monitoring. If Stafford is 100%, then back-to-back is very possible.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that is obviously extremely loaded on talent. You talk about a lot of those guys, they're still very much in the win now phase for at least another year here with Stafford at the helm, getting Aaron Donald to come back. I really like the pickup of Allen Robinson. I think Allen Robinson can really have a reemergence in this offense. And I would love to see a season of full healthy Cam Akers and Daryl Henderson Jr. Those are two guys that I think can make a big difference out of that backfield if they stay healthy and they're able to use them to their strengths. And overall, the defense is still one of the top ones in the league, with their offense being as electric as it is. They're going to be a hard team to beat on any given week. I have them at 13-4 just because of the fact that they're just going to be a hard team to catch off guard, because even when one half of the ball isn't playing all that well, the other half has more than enough talent to pick up the slack.
Yeah, I also have them at 13-4. We didn't even mention how well coached this Rams team is. That's a big thing.
I mean, that's a given. That's Sean McVay.
Yeah, that's just Sean McVay. And the Rams, the quest to repeat is officially underway. Now let's go to the San Francisco 49ers, who they need to not make the playoffs this year, because if they do, then I'm a little bit nervous, but that's neither here nor there. I actually have
of the cheese, people.
I actually do have them cracking the playoffs at 11-6, because they're still a very, very good team. Their defense is as good as advertised, and I think Trey Lance at quarterback is going to open up some new dimensions here in the Niners offense, and now they get to push the ball down the field a little bit more, where Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't very good at that. Brandon Ayuk and Trey Lance have developed a real connection in training camp, and I think Ayuk is going to take the next step. You still have Deebo Samuel, who they gave that massive extension to, and then George Kittle, who's still wreaking havoc at the tight end position. So, playoffs.
Offensive weapons, absolutely there. Defense, definitely solid. They still have a very complete team, and you're right. The addition of opening up the offense to Trey Lance definitely opens up a lot of doors and what they can do with this team. It's just a matter of, I think that it might take a little bit to iron out some of the little kinks of, establishing themselves in this new type of offense and seeing what works and doesn't work for them. But like you said, all of those pieces are great pieces for them. And for that reason, I absolutely have them in the playoffs. I have them here at 11-6 as well. And I think that they're going to be a very interesting team to watch, because now all of a sudden their defense doesn't necessarily have to bear the load of all that tension to win games, because all of a sudden you've got an offense that really should be able to sling the rock, as well as continue to be a very run-dominant offense, given the athleticism of Trey Lance, plus still having Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson in your backfield.
The last team in the NFC West that we have is the Seattle Seahawks, and they're entering a new era because they traded Russell Wilson to Denver.
Man.
So that means full rebuild, and their options
also,
at quarterback.
Can I just say, poor Chris Carson? I feel bad for the dude having to retire because of that neck injury.
Yeah, football is a rough sport, and I think that's just a real reminder of the costs that this game can have. And the cost of trading Russell Wilson is that means you have to pick between Geno Smith and Drew Lock. Hey, Tim, I actually have a suggestion. I have a ping pong ball. Maybe it can play quarterback, because I think it may be a better alternative as to what the Seahawks have at their disposal right now.
That's pretty disrespectful. Now, granted, I don't think those two options are great, but I mean, regardless, they're two guys that you
and a ping pong ball. Realistically, I can ship it to Seattle.
And you've still got guys at the wide receiver position like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Now, granted, their defense isn't great. Their offensive line isn't great.
Tim,
and there's not a whole lot to like.
Nice. You're being nice. For years, the Seahawks have had the safety blanket that, as long as we have Russ. You don't have Russ anymore.
The one potential bright spot that I am going to be interested to watch is, can we see some of the consistency added to the play of Rashad Penny that we saw out of that last 4 or 5 games of the season? We saw him emerge as a legitimate running back possibility. But if you're not passing the ball well, it kind of makes it tough to run the ball, because they're going to be focused on it. But
yeah, if you're playing from behind often, you're going to have to throw the ball. And
absolutely, they're going to be playing from behind a good amount.
Rashad Penny was really good, and they did add Kenny Walker. So if there was a bright spot for the Seattle Seahawks team, it would be the running back. But personally, ping pong ball.
Ping pong ball or not, I don't see them winning very many games.
Yep,
in fact,
I agree.
Got them right at the bottom of the league with a couple of the other teams at a whopping 2-15.
I also have them at just 2 wins. Sorry, 12th man.
It hurts because the Seahawks are a team that has been consistently decent or above average for so many years with Russell Wilson at the helm. It's hard to think about them or see them that bad.
You really don't know what you have until it's gone. And now Russell Wilson is gone and the Seahawks are going to stink. But that's all we got for the NFC West season preview. We have one more to go, and that will be the best division in football.
Boy, what a division.
The AFC West. What a ride that will be. But we've covered the rest of the divisions in football for our season previews already. Go watch that if you haven't already, and we'll have lots of stuff coming as this football season unfolds. We can't wait. So if you want more stuff from us, like and subscribe, and we out.